Welcome to Time Ball Games. I'm ELD, here to ask you for help in growing the channel. When we reach 2,500 subscribers, I'm going to be giving away a custom leather playmat to one lucky subscriber. So be sure to like and subscribe. Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Time Ball Games in Bellingham, Mass. Here we have Nick with a Wrenn and 6 deck. I believe this is actually the final tournament for Wrenn and 6. He is facing off against the Goblin King. Of course, those 1 toughness goblins will not miss Wrenn and 6 once he departs from the format. But until then, that 2-mana Planeswalker stands in the way for this Goblin deck, starting with a Mogg War Marshal. Aether Vial 1 going to make it very difficult for the counter spells in Nick's deck to contain these goblins. We'll see how wide he can go. Going to start out with a Brainstorm. Mogg War Marshal, one of those cards that can overwhelm unsuspecting players pretty easily. Just the ability to get the extra bodies on board and the synergy with cards like Goblin Chieftain and Goblin Piledriver can really surprise you. Going to go ahead and pay the Echo, not expecting to have anything better to do with the mana. And Lightning Bolt takes out the Goblin Lackey. Two damage coming across. That Mogg War Marshal now, when he dies, will replace himself. That Echo not usually worth playing, but in the grindiest of matchups, that extra body can make the difference. So far, Nick's mana base, all non-basics. A Wasteland takes out one of Mark's non-basics, leaving him with a Karakas and a basic mountain. Vial ticking up to 3. And now a Goblin Crater Maker, which gets dazed. We got to expect Vial during the end step likely to be putting in a Goblin Matron. And there it is. We'd suspect Matron because any other 3 casting cost Goblin likely would have been done pre-combat. Something like a Goblin Chieftain, obviously, the haste and the +1/+1. Something you're going to want to get down as soon as possible. Now, I didn't actually catch what he grabbed. I would have imagined Ringleader. Delver of Secrets flipping to Lightning Bolt. It's a pretty good feeling in the Goblins matchup typically. 3 damage coming across, and now Tarmogoyf, a very large board presence. Goyf can be taken down by Munitions Expert, though right now Mark doesn't have an easy way of getting that card onto the table. Vial is up to 4, and he doesn't have the black mana for it thanks to that Wasteland from earlier. And a Sling-Gang Lieutenant. Representing 7 damage. Just from sacrificing goblins. If he's got any more goblins, I mean, he's pretty close to it right now. He's got to be able to swing with 5, it'd be 4. I believe he'd go down to just 1 life. And with this Matron, this should do it. Sling-Gang Lieutenant, such a potent card. Goblin Trashmaster. Gonna be more than enough damage now, as everything but the Sling-Gang attacks. And Trashmaster is going to be able to come down off of this Vial, pump the entire team. Not really going to matter what gets blocked, as 8 damage is going to be coming through, and then an easy mop-up with this Sling Gang. So Mark, the Goblin King, showing that even with Wrenn and 6 in the format, these X1s can get things done. Of course, the Anthem effects or the Lord effects of cards like Goblin Taskmaster and Goblin Chieftain, even more powerful when you're dealing with a reusable source of 1 damage at a time like Wrenn and 6. The other part of the card, though, is definitely not consequence-free when you're talking about playing against goblins. The ability to recur fetch lands is actually pretty strong against a deck who has that strong supplemental plan of Wasteland and Rishadan Port to go after your mana base. So Wrenn and 6 actually really bad news for goblins on both fronts, the ability to kill the creatures and the ability to kind of stuff that mana denial strategy and really kind of cut off both lines of attack that goblins has. One of the nice things, though, about a card like Wrenn and 6 when it is in the format is it is a very clear signal in terms of what you're trying to metagame against. Knowing exactly the type of card that your deck needs to be able to beat is certainly useful. And when there is a front runner like that, that is often the time when kind of rogue strategies can do some of their best work. It's pretty difficult to build a rogue deck that can have game against absolutely everything. I mean, I guess that's almost impossible to do, but certainly you can have some core strategies that you're ready to tackle. And, you know, Wrenn and 6 is one of those cards where you just know to expect it and you can make adjustments accordingly. Ponder is a keeper, and Cavern of Souls making an uncounterable Goblin Lackey. There it is, Wrenn and 6 taking down that ideal first turn, and that is absolutely brutal being on the draw there. Mogg War Marshal continues to push forward. And a little bit of a decision here. Kind of stifle the development. Oh, we've got Wasteland being used. Will he pick that Wasteland back up with Wrenn and 6? Get double duty? No, he'll actually grab the Polluted Delta, perhaps signaling a Brainstorm in the near future. Mogg War Marshal has to be let go, as Mark can no longer pay. Munitions Expert now going to clear that Wrenn and 6, unless Nick has a response. Enters the battlefield. Oh, and he's got Stifle. Very interesting. Stifle actually keeping this Wrenn and 6 alive for now. A Lightning Bolt would have also done some work. Now we see the Lightning Bolt. Lightning Bolt in response to the Munitions Expert trigger would have bought a whole bunch of time, stopping the attacker for that turn and making it so Wrenn and 6 only takes 2 damage off of the Munitions Expert. And now we see Tarmogoyf stabilizing versus these 1/1s. Wrenn and 6 picking up another land, generating that card advantage. And Nick being on the play here, really feeling like an absolutely massive, massive difference between being on the draw. Wrenn and 6 would not have been able to answer that Lackey in the same time frame, and this would be a very different game. And Mark actually just going to go on to have the play for game number 3. So we are all tied up here. Final game of the match. Will Wrenn and 6 reign supreme in its final ride, or is the Goblin King going to find yet another win as often an underdog. I think it's really not a stretch to say that Goblins is an underdog with Wrenn and 6 on the other side of the table. Certainly Mark is prepared as he can be to face down that 2-mana Planeswalker. But it is still a big ask to triumph over a card that is on its way out of the metagame for being deemed too strong. See there Mark playing on his playmat from the Pauper Open, of course, winning that with Goblins as well. In a turn 1 Vial, that gets Force of Willed. Cavern not able to protect Vial there, but getting a couple of quality cards, Force of Will and Daze, out of the hand. With that Cavern on board, neither of those counters is going to be super useful until Nick finds a Wasteland. Stifle. Flips. Oh, and there's the Wasteland right away. Delver looking to steal the spotlight here. All of that talk about Wrenn and 6, and it looks like Mark's just going to get Delvered. Just a brute force Delver game so far. Force of Will, their first turn play. Play a Delver. Wasteland, their only land. Leave them with no options as Delver quickly mops up. Cabal Therapy goes to the graveyard. Not likely to be used this game. Any creatures that Mark has are going to be very valuable resources. Anything to stabilize here at all. Perhaps get into Munitions Expert range. And no, it's going to be over super fast as next turn Wrenn and 6 will be able to deal the final point of damage. Actually, scratch that. Tarmogoyf is going to actually join in to do the final damage as Wrenn and 6 triumphs one last time over Goblins. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.